بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. So we continue tonight inshallah from الدروس المهمة لعامة الأمة, important lessons for every Muslim by Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala. The chapter of Islamic manners, al-adab, al-adab al-islamiyya, al-ta'addubu bi-adab al-islamiyya, Islamic mannerisms. And we stopped last week on the manners or the dua for entering the masjid, and the dua for leaving the masjid, and the dua for entering the house, and the dua for leaving the house. And he continues with the next one. He says, rahimahullah, وَعِنْدَ السَّفَرِ, when traveling. السَّفَرِ له آداب عديدة. There are different things that the Muslim is supposed to do or should do when traveling. Any type of trip, whether it's by car, bus, anytime a person is considered traveling, there's certain things that the Muslim should do. He says, وَيَنْبَغِي, قال الشيخ عبد الرزاق حفظه الله, ينبغي على المسافر أن يعرفها وأن يتحلى بها من حيث آداب الركوب وآداب النزول. That the traveler, there's some things that they should know, that the traveler should know, and that they should do, starting with when they first leave, when they first begin the journey, and the adab, or the things that they do when they arrive to the place. So we say departure and arrival. The things that we should do when we depart from wherever we're leaving from, and the things that we should do when we arrive. And he doesn't go into detail. He says, وَآدَابُ الدُّخُولِ لِلْبَلِدَ الَّذِي يَدْخُلُهُ, and the manners of when a person enters a certain place, wherever they're going, that city or that country, what should a person do when they land there? And from those things are the dua, making the dua a safar, the prayer for traveling. When a person leaves out, that they make the dua for traveling. And what they say upon returning, it's a dua to say upon returning. He doesn't go into detail, but he's pointing to that. He says, وَمَا جَاءَ فِي الشَّرِيعَةِ مِن دَعْوَاتٍ مُبَارَكَاتٍ تَتَعَلَّقُ بِذَلِكَ. All of these things from the du'as that a person should say when leaving, when they depart from one place to go to another, and what do they say when they arrive to that destination. He says all of these things, كُلُّ ذَلِكَ يَحْرِصُ الْمُسْلِمُ عَلَى الْعِنَايَةِ بِهِ. All of these things a Muslim should strive to implement and pay attention to and give importance to it, as the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that he would make a certain dua when he traveled, when he left, when he departed from a certain place, he would make a dua, and then he would make another dua, he would say something else when he landed, or when he arrived to his destination. And then there's another dua on the way back, do the same thing on the way back, and the other things that are involved in the adab al-safar. And he didn't go into detail there. طيب, he moves on. وقال رحمه الله ومع الوالدين. He said the adab that a person has with their parents. The adab that a person has with their parents. And he didn't specify that the parents are Muslim. Some of these things are general, if the parents are Muslim or if the parents are not Muslim. He says, وَالْوَالِدَانِ وَهُمَا أَحَقُّ النَّاسِ بِحُسْنِ الْأَدَبِ. And the parents have the most right for a person to honor and respect them. The parents have the most right to be honored and respected by a person, كَمَا جَاءَ فِي الْحَدِيثِ, as it came in the hadith, as it comes in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. When a man came, أَنَّ رَجُلًا سَأَلَ النَّبِيَّ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. A man came and he asked the Prophet ﷺ. He said, مَنْ أَحَقُّ النَّاسِ بِحُسْنِ صَحَابَتِي. Who has the most right to my good companionship? who has the most right, that I treat them with the utmost respect and that I give them ihtiram, the best of my companionship. Qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ummuka, your mother. So the man said, Qala thumma man, who after your mother deserves this type of respect and good companionship? Qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, after your mother, he said, thumma ummuka, then your mother. Again, Qala, the man said a third time, thumma man, who after that? As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he already said your mother twice. He said a third time, thumma man, who after your mother, for the third time. Qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, thumma ummuka, then your mother again. 3 times he said your mother. So the man said, thumma man. Qala thumma man. He asked the 4th time, who after your mother? Qala thumma abuk, and then your father. This hadith is in Sahih Al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim an Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, to show the status of, number 1, the parents in general, and number 2, the mother, the status of the mother. The status of the mother in Al-Islam. And he brings another hadith, وفي الحديث قال بر أمك وأباك, be good to your mother and your father. Be good to your mother and your father. And the Prophet ﷺ said, وأختك, and your sister, وأخاك, and your brother, ثم أدنى أدنى, and then those who come after them in relations, from family ties after that, the farther they get away from the immediate or from those who are closest. So Shaykh Abdul Razak says, فَهُمَا أَحَقُ النَّاسِ بِالْأَدَابِ وَحُسْنُ الْمُعَامَلَةِ. So the parents, the mother and the father, have the most right that a person honors and respects them than anybody else, according to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, and for this reason, Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, who has the book Sahih Al-Bukhari, the compilation of a hadith, Imam Al-Bukhari, he has another book of adab, discussing adab al-mufrad. It's called Adab al-Mufrad. Adab al-Mufrad. And the first thing, أولا باب عقده في كتابه الأدب المفرد باب بر الوالدين. The first chapter that he put in his other book that is famous, it may not be as famous as Sahih al-Bukhari, but it's by the same author, the Imam al-Bukhari. He has another book on adab, Islamic manners, and he starts with the chapter of being good to the parents. Why? تنبيها منه رحمه الله إلى أن الوالدين هما أحق الناس بذلك الأدب والإحسان. Because the parents, out of all the people who have rights, the parents are the most deserving of the respect and the honor. As there's a general respect that every person gets. And then if we go to certain people, they get more respect based on, a lot of times, the status. Maybe their status in society, or their status in the community, or whatever it is. But who has the most deserving of that respect is the parents. And for this reason, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, he started his book with the chapter of the adab, bir al-walidain, showing that they have the most right. So Shaykh Abdul Razak says, وَيَكْفِي دَلَالَةً عَلَى عِذَمِ هَذَا الْحَقِّ أَنَّ اللَّهَ قَرَنَ حَقَّهُمَا بِحَقِّهِ فِي غَيْرِ مَوْضِعٍ مِنْ كِتَابِهِ. To show, or it's enough, it shows the status of the parents, that Allah Jalla wa Ala, in more than one place in the Quran, that when Allah mentions His right, that is to be worshipped alone, Tawheed, when Allah mentions His right in the Quran, in more than one place, after He mentions His right to be worshipped alone, He mentions the rights of the parents along with it. And this shows, as the ulama say of tafsir, this shows the importance and the level and the status of the parents in Al-Islam, and the level of respect that they are entitled to. And then he brings the ayah, قال الله تعالى, وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. In Surah Al-Isra, ayahs 23 and 24. In the tafsir of this ayah, it shows the level and the seriousness of the parents and the respect and the honor that Islam gives the parents. As Allah says, firstly, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. And your Lord has commanded that you worship none but Him. Allah has commanded that you worship none but Him. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. And your Lord has commanded that you don't worship anything, anyone except for Allah Jalla wa'ala. And then the tafsir says specifically, it shows this is a command from Allah. Salamatullah. The Tawheed. As Imam Saajid says in his tafsir, he said this is amran shar'iyyan. This is a legislated command from Allah. That what? أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا أَحَدًا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ الْأَحْيَاءِ وَالْأَمْوَاتِ. That no one, living, dead, the angels, no one is deserving of Allah's worship except Allah Jalla wa'ala. And this is the first part of the ayah. Allah speaks about His Tawheed in the first part of the ayah. After that, ثُمَّ ذَكَرَ بَعْدَ حَقِّهِ. After Allah mentions His haqq, which is to be worshipped, His right, which is to be worshipped alone, without any partners. Immediately after that, Allah mentions al-qiyamu بِحَقِّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. He mentions in the same ayat the importance of establishing the rights and giving the parents their rights. So Allah says after that, وَقَالَ بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And be good to the parents. Allah says, and be good to your parents. It doesn't say your Muslim parents. It doesn't specify that the parents have to be Muslim in order to show honor and respect. That's a khata, that's a misconception that a person thinks that they can disrespect their mother or their father based on their mother or their father not being a Muslim. And that's incorrect. As the non-Muslim parent is in need of da'wah, at the least, they're in need of da'wah, that we teach them or try to tell them about Al-Islam before they die. Not to disrespect them and make them look at Islam in a bad light, or to disrespect them and to make them think what type of religion would teach a person to disrespect the mother that carried them for 9 months, as Allah mentioned in the Quran, that carried them and raised them, as Allah mentions at the end of this ayah. So He says after Allah mentioned His right to be worshipped alone, He then mentions the right of the parents. So Allah says, and be good to the parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. يعني أحسنوا إليهما بجميع وجوه الإحسان. Imam Saajid says, be good with every type of goodness that is possible. Anything that is good, that is possible, falls under the meaning of the ayah. He says, al-qawli wal-amali, whether it's a statement that we say, or whether it's an action that we do to show the honor and respect for the status of the parent, the mother or the father. لأنهما سبب وجود العبد, because they are from the reasons. They are not the sole reason, as Allah gives life and causes death, but they are from the asbab. They are from the reasons that a person is alive. The mother gives birth to a child, so she's from the reasons, and the pregnancy doesn't happen except by the two, the man and the woman coming together. So the parents are from the reasons that a person is even mawjood, that a person is even present after Allah Jalla wa'ala. And then Allah goes and He specifies even more. And this is in Surah Al-Isra. Allah says, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبْرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. He said, if one of them reaches old age, or both of them, then don't even say to them uff. Allah said in the Quran, uffin. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا uffin. And uff is like we would say, as it says in the tafsir, we'll read the tafsir. Imam Saajid says, إِذَا وَصَلَ إِلَى هَذَا السِّنِّ. If they reach this age, الَّذِي تُضْعِفْ فِيهِ قَوَاهَا, that they become a little weaker. Human beings grow older and they get weaker as we grow. Allah protect us all. He says, وَيَحْتَاجَانْ مِنَ اللُّطْفِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. And they need somebody, they need to be dealt with gently. The older they get, people in general, they need to be dealt with a little more gently. Allah said, فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Don't even say to them, as we might describe it as maybe the sucking of the teeth. Or that's the least. That's the least. Uff. When they tell you to do something, or like this, Allah says, لا تقل لهما أف. Uff. And it says that this word here, هذا أدنى مراتب الأذى. This is the least harm to respond like this, with this type of response, whether it's the sucking of the teeth, blowing of the, or whatever. This is the least form of harm that a person can do to their parents. Even to respond like that when they're told to do something is the least form. And this shows that if Allah prohibited, and He told us not to do the least form, then anything above that is haram. And anything above that will be letting alone swinging or hitting the parent. Someone swinging or hitting their parent or swinging back, right? If we're not allowed to even say oof or to respond with some type of statement, and that is the least, then anything above that is also haram and impermissible in Islam. And this shows the status of the parent. وَالْمَعْنَى لَا تُؤْذِيهِمَا, that not to harm them in any way. And then Allah went on and He said, وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Yani don't bother them. Don't do anything that will be disturbing to them. He says, وَتَتَكَلَّمْ لَهُمَا كَلَامٍ خَشَنًا. And don't say harmful things to them. All of this comes in the ayah, in the same ayah, in Surah Al-Isra, ayahs 23 and 24. And then Allah said, وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And say to them a nice word, honorable words. Be lutf, be gentle. Say things that they would like. تَأَدُّبْ وَالتَّلَطُّفْ بِكَلَامٍ لَيِّنْ حَسَنٍ. Say soft words and things that will be pleasing to the parent. That will what? Shaykh Abdul Razak says, Shaykh Imam Saajid, rahimahullah, something that will touch their hearts and make them feel calm. All of this falls under the meaning of the ayah where Allah says, وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And say to them a nice word or honorable word. And then He says, وَذَلِكَ يَخْتَلِفُ بِاخْتِلَافِ الْأَحْوَالِ وَالْأَوَائِدِ وَالْأَزْمَانِ. And that niceness could differ. The way that we show honor and affection could differ from place to place, from country to country, from time to time, between different times. Meaning, you can't take and apply the way that people in another country show their respect and apply it, for example, here, because it might not be received the same way. It might not get the same look. For example, in Saudi, the people, if a kid, it doesn't matter, not a kid, if a man sees his mother or his father in the street, outside, it's aib, it's like almost an embarrassment to the family that he doesn't kiss his father's hand when he sees him, when he shakes his hand. Right? And this is to their culture and to them. That's a sign of respect, which might not fly. Might not fly here. We can't knock them, but you can't use everything everywhere. And that's what Shaykh Saajid says, rahimahullah. He says, these things يختلف باختلاف الأحوال والأزمان. Depending on the time frame, it could change from country to country, from time to time. It might be a little different. The way you show respect now might be a little different than it was 50, 60 years ago. Right? In the same place, in the same city, the way to show respect might be a little different now than it used to be. طيب. Then Allah says, وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الظُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. And lower your wing to them out of respect and mercy. Meaning, show some humility and respect to them and be merciful with them. Why? احتسابًا الأجر, seeking Allah's reward, as he says, seeking Allah's reward. لا لأجل الخوف منهما, not because a person is scared, he's afraid of them, but seeking Allah's reward. Not that a person is weak, but seeking a reward from Allah, as it's a command in the Quran. We're commanded to honor the parents. Therefore, if a person fulfills the command of honoring the parents, then this is a form of worship. And when we perform our worship, we seek our reward from Allah. Therefore, a person honors their parents, seeking their reward from Allah, not seeking something else. Not seeking, as Imam Saajid says, الرجاء لما لهما, not seeking something that they may have. It's just sad, but it's real. Some people, they don't have good relationships with their mothers or their fathers. So, it's possible when they get close to death, when the parent gets close to death, they want to build a relationship for the insurance money. Mumkin. It's possible. Seeking a closeness for something other than Allah's reward. Imam Saajid says, وَذَلِكَ مِنَ الْمَقَاصِدَ الَّتِي لَا يُؤْجَرْ عَلَيْهَا الْعَبْدِ. That a person doesn't build that relationship for something that they won't be rewarded for. The reward is with Allah Jalla wa Ala, as it's a command. And to fulfill the command is a form of worship. And Allah says lastly in the ayat, وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. He says, and this is another order, and make dua for them. Make dua for the parents. أُدْعُ لَهُمَا بِالرَّحْمَةِ. Make dua for them. Pray for them that Allah has mercy on them. And this here, he says, الأحياء وأمواتا, أحياء وأمواتا. Those alive and if they're dead. And that's specific for the parent that dies as a Muslim, as that's another issue, the permissibility or the impermissibility of praying for the non-Muslim after their death. As another ayah came down, was revealed, where Allah said, commanded not to pray for those who died upon shirk. طيب. After that, he says, rahimahullah wal aqarib, to show respect to the other relatives outside of the mother and the father. That the other relatives also have rights. As this comes in the hadith, the same hadith, after the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, he said, birra ummak, be good to your mother. And he said, wa abak, and your father, wa ukhtak, and your sister, wa akhak, and your brother. Then he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, thumma adnak, adnak. And then those that come after them from your relatives. So, yahris al-Muslim ala ta'amuli ma'ahum bil adab al-karima. That the Muslim should deal with the relatives with good, honorable manners. It's not okay to be ignorant, meaning ignorant behavior. As either way, at all times, the Muslim, especially living in a non-Muslim country, We're always in a position of da'wah all the time. There's no time that we're not in a position to teach people about Islam, even if it's by the way we carry ourselves, even if it's family members that we come up with. It's family members that we come up with when they're not Muslim, it's always a form, it's always a majal, it's always an area for da'wah, even if it's by the way we behave and conduct ourselves with them. So, he says, from honoring them, الرعاية لحقوقهم وصلتهم, not cutting the ties, not cutting them off, and respecting them and honoring them and giving them their rights. والإحسان إليهم, being nice to them. والبعد عن الإساءة إليهم, and staying away from harming them or disrespecting them. Those are the relatives. Then Shaykh bin Baz, he continued on, وقال رحمه الله والجيران, and the neighbors. I think he mentioned this before. فمن أداب الشريعة الأدب مع الجار. Islam teaches us to have adab, to respect our neighbors, not to disrespect them because they're Muslims. They might disrespect us. It's clear that they don't know. Not that we get soft and, but we have to be balanced, that we don't just disrespect people because, they're not Muslims. It's a khata. That's not Islamic. Islamically, it's incorrect. He says, al-adab ma'a al-jar, and paying attention to their rights. Wal-bu'du an idha'ihi, and staying away from harming the neighbor. Wal-hirsu ala al-ihsan ilayhi bikulli wujuhin, bikulli wujuh al-ihsan al-mustata'ati qawliyatan aw fi'liyah, and doing any good that a person can do for their neighbor, whether it's a statement or an action, that they're able to do. Anything that they're able to do. And these things sometimes are small things. Sometimes it's something small, but you never know how long a statement or action goes to the person. As even if we don't think, people are judging Islam based on our behavior all the time. And the Prophet ﷺ said, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام ما زال يوصيني جبريل بالجار حتى ظننت أنه سيورثه. He said that the angel Jibril alayhi salam used to constantly remind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the importance of the rights of the neighbor, until he thought alayhi salatu wasalam, he thought that the neighbor would inherit from him. That's how much Jibril alayhi salam would remind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the haqq of the jar, the importance of the neighbor. قال رحمه الله, then he moves on, وَالْأَدَبُ مَعَ الْكِبَارِ وَالصِّغَارِ. He says, وَالْأَدَبُ, in the behavior or the treatment of the elders and the youth. كُلٌّ بِحَسَبِهِ, everybody according to their level. So the elders are to be respected or dealt with in a certain way, and the youth ought to be dealt with in a certain way. And the Prophet ﷺ said, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, ليس منا من لم يوقر كبيرنا ويرحم صغيرنا. This hadith is in the Muslim of Imam Ahmed, where the Prophet ﷺ said, he is not from us. This person is not from us. The person who does not respect the elders, our elders, he is not from us. He said, and the person who doesn't have mercy with the youth is not from us. He's not from us, the one who doesn't respect the elders. And he's not from us, the one who doesn't have mercy with the youth. And this hadith is recorded by Imam Ahmed rahimahullah, and Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah said it is Hasan. It is Hasan. طيب. So, فَالْكَبِيرُ يُعَامَلْ بِالتَّوْقِيرِ وَالْإِحْتِرَامِ. So the elder is supposed to be respected, held with an honorable type of respect. وَالصَّغِيرُ يُعَامَلْ بِالرَّحْمَةِ. And the youth should be dealt with mercy. As the youth, they have to learn. And then the Prophet, he says here, وَمَنْ لَا يَرْحَمْ لَا يُرْحَمْ. As it says, it comes in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that whoever does not have mercy upon the people, mercy will not be placed upon that person. If a person doesn't have mercy upon others, Allah will not have mercy with that person, as he's going to bring in the hadith. He says, كما جاء في الصحيحين أن الأقرع بن حابس رضي الله عنه كان جالسا عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This man الأقرع, he was sitting with the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. فقبل عليه الصلاة والسلام الحسن بن علي رضي الله عنهما. So the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he kissed Al-Hasan, the son of Ali, Ali's son Hassan. He kissed him. So the man was sitting there while the Prophet ﷺ kissed the boy, kissed Hassan رضي الله عنه. So the man said, فقال الأقرع, he said, إن لي عشرة من الولد ما قبضت منهم أحدا. The man said to the Prophet ﷺ, I have 10 sons, and I haven't kissed not one of them. فنظر إليه النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. So the Prophet ﷺ, he turned and looked at the man, and he said to the man, وقال من لا يرحم لا يرحم. He said to the man, whoever doesn't show mercy will not be shown mercy. Whoever doesn't show mercy, he won't be shown any mercy. And the hadith is recorded by Abu Dawood and Abi Musa al-Ash'ari. And then another hadith, أن أعرابيا أتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that a man came to the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, and he said, وقال تقبلون الصبيان. He said, y'all kiss y'all, do you kiss, like y'all kiss y'all young kids? You kiss the kids? It's a question. فما نقبل. He says, فما نقبلهم. He said, we don't kiss them. We don't kiss our kids. This is what the man said to the Prophet ﷺ. He asked the question, do you kiss your kids? Because we don't kiss our kids. يعني نحن لا نقبل صبياننا. The man is saying that we don't kiss our kids. The Prophet ﷺ said, فقال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, وأملك لك أن نزع الله من قلبك الرحمة. He said, I can't put mercy in a person where Allah has removed the mercy from their heart. This shows the mercy that should be given or shown to the children. طيب, قال رحمه الله. The next thing, التهنئة بالمولود, to congratulate the people, congratulate one another when a person has a child. That we congratulate one another when people have children. How? بالدعاء لوالديه إن يجعله قرة عين. That we make dua for the parents, we make dua that Allah makes that child pleasing to the parents. That Allah makes that child pleasing to the parents. وأن يجعله من أئمة الهدى. And that Allah makes that child from the leaders of the Muslims, from the leaders of the believers. A person who guides the people. وَيَجْعَلَهُ مُبَارَكًا عَلَى أَهْلِهِ وَعَلَى الْأُمَّةِ. And that Allah makes that child a blessing for his parents and for the ummah, for the Muslims in general. As عن حماد ibn Zayd رحمه الله, Hamad ibn Zayd قال كان أيوب السختياني إذا هنأ رجلا بمولود. Hamad ibn Zayd, he was one of the imams of hadith, one of the older imams of hadith, one of the famous imams of hadith, and Ayyub also, rahimahumullah. He said Ayyub, when he would congratulate someone when they had a child, he would say to him, جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ مُبَارَكًا عليك وعلى أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. He would say to the person, may Allah make him a blessing for you and for the ummah, for the Islamic nation, for the whole nation. May Allah make that child a blessing for you, and make Allah make him a blessing for the Muslims in general. And this is a dua, a great dua that encompasses a lot of things. In another narration, it says that a man, he was sitting with Hassan, yani al-Basri. So, ولد له ابن, the man had a son. فهنأه رجل, the man that was sitting with Hassan, he had a son. So another man came and congratulated him. So when he congratulated him on the son he had, the child, فقال ليهنك الفارس. He said, I congratulate you, or for having a faris. A faris is like a horseman, someone that will go out and fight, right? Brave, strong, that will go out and fight maybe. So Hassan said to the man, فقال الحسن وما يدريك أنه فارس. What makes you think he's going to be a horseman? What makes you think that that child is going to grow to be that? لعله نجار. He might grow up to be a carpenter. لعله خياط. Or he might grow up and be a tailor. He could be anything. So the man said, well, what should I say? قال كيف أقول? Instead of specifying a specific job, or so to say, he said, say to the man, you should just say something general. جعله الله مباركا عليك وعلى أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. And that's general. May Allah make him, that child, a blessing for you and a blessing for the ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. In this way, that blessing inside of it is all good. All khair is, all good is encompassed in that type of dua. So the next one, قال رحمه الله والتبريك بالزواج, and congratulating people when they get married. Making the dua, giving people, or saying the dua for people when they're married. But we have to know when people get married. Sometimes we don't even know if brothers or sister gets married. Get married, divorced 2-3 times, we don't even know. So we can't even implement this sunnah. We can't implement this sunnah because we're going to practice the other sunnah of announcing the marriage. So we leave off one and therefore we can't practice the other. Allahu al-Musta'an. So he says, congratulating people when they get married, as it comes in the hadith, كما جاء في الحديث يقال له بارك الله لك وبارك عليك وجمع بينكما في خير. May Allah bless you and put blessings and shower His blessings upon you, and may He bring you two together upon good. May He bring you two together upon good is the dua that we should say when someone gets married. But then again, we have to know when our brothers and sisters are getting married in order to implement this sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Next, قال رحمه الله والتعزية في المصاب, and to show condolences when a person has a calamity, when something falls on a person. It could be a death, could be sickness, that we go to the person and try to ease their pain for whatever situation it is. بأن يقال له, as it comes in the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, that you say to a person who has had some type of hardship befall them, they came across some type of hardship, maybe a death, someone dies. لله ما أخذ, whatever has left you belong to Allah Jalla wa Ala in the first place. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. وَلَهُ مَا أَعْطَى, and it belongs to Him whatever He gave you. What he took away from you was His, and what He gave you in the first place was His. وَكُلٌّ عِنْدَهُ بِأَجْلٍ مُسَمَّى, and everything has a specific time, an appointed time frame that a person is going to live. Everything has a specific time frame that it will live. فَلْتَصْبِرْ وَلْتَحْتَسِبْ, so remain patient and seek Allah's reward in being patient upon the hardship that befalls you. And this hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. It's a reminder when a person is going through something, especially something like a death, that every person has an appointed term. No one is going to live forever. And what the first place, if it was whoever it was, children, a wife, a husband, parents, children, whatever it is, that we belong to Allah, and to Allah we have to go back to Allah. And we have to be patient and seek Allah's reward. And that is the reminder that a person should give when a person comes across some hardship. He says, وَكَذَلِكَ مِمَّا لَمْ يَرِدْ مِنَ الْكَلِمَاتِ الَّتِي فِيهَا مُؤَانَسَةٌ. And also, if it's not specifically hadith saying exactly what you have to say, that anything nice that will bring some ease to a person when they're going through hardship, as long as what they're saying, the words don't go against the Sharia, as long as it's nothing haram, as long as it doesn't go against anything that Allah and His Messenger has taught us, then a person can use nice words to try to bring some ease to the person's pain. قال رحمه الله وغير ذلك من الآداب الإسلامية في اللبس والخلع والانتعال. And other things, other adab, this is just a portion. It's impossible. As in books and books, volumes written on adab, Islamic manners, and this is just maybe 10 pages or so, 8 pages or 15 pages maybe. So he says, and all of the other things that are connected to the Islamic adab, from dressing or hair, getting undressed, putting on shoes. He says, for example, من استجد له ثوب يحمد الله subhanahu. Whoever gets some new type of clothing, there's a dua. There's a dua that we're supposed to say when we put on new clothing, something new. When we get dressed, we put on something new. Allahumma laka alhamd anta kasawtanihi. Alhamdulillah. We praise Allah. We say, Allah, oh Allah, all praise is for you. All praise is for you. You are the one who gave me this garment, whatever it is. Anta kasawtanihi. You are the one who gave it to me. You dressed me with it. As'aluka min khayrihi wa khayri ma suni'a lah. I ask you to give me the good, whatever the garment is. Whatever good that is entailed or contained it, give me good from it. And I seek refuge from you. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ شَرِّهِ. And I seek refuge in you from the evil that this garment may bring upon me. From the evil. And it could be anything. It could be a shirt. It could be a pair of sneakers. That could push a person to forgetting the ni'mah, forgetting the blessing of Allah Jalla wa Ala on him or her. That could push a person to riyah, showing off. It could push a person to evil. It says, وَالشَّرِّ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. And to protect me from any evil that this was made for. So the dua is to protect the person. First we praise Allah for the blessing of clothing by itself, and then we seek His protection from any evil that clothing may bring to us. And it could be from our heedlessness of not remembering Allah at all times. And that hadith is recorded by Imam Ahmed, wa Abu Dawood, wa Imam al-Tirmidhi, rahimahumullah. He says, وَمِنَ السُنَّةِ التَّيَامُنُ. When getting dressed, from the sunnah is التَّيَامُنُ, which is to get dressed, to begin with the right side. To begin with the right side. As the Prophet ﷺ he loved to begin things. When he would do things, he would like to start with the right side. Right? Like putting on the shoes, to put the right shoe on first. When you take off the shoe, take the left shoe off before the right shoe. At-tiyamunu, to start with the right side. He said, وَتَجَنُّبُوا thiyab al-shuhra. And to stay away from thiyab al-shuhra. That's an issue in itself, thiyab al-shuhra, which could vary from place to place. Clothing that may cause people to stare at you. Something that's going to cause a person to stare or point fingers at you, to stay away from those type of clothings, that type of clothing. And to stay away from isbal, being extravagant in the dragging of the garments and being arrogant. As the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, كُلُوا وَتَصَدَّقُوا وَالْبَسُوا فِي غَيْرِ إِسْرَافٍ وَلَا مَخِيلَةٍ. The Prophet ﷺ said, eat, give charity, and dress. Do all of these things without being extravagant, without being arrogant and conceited when you do it. Eat without being arrogant, without being wasteful. Give sadaqah without being extravagant, without being wasteful. And dress. You can dress. There's nothing wrong with looking nice without being extravagant, without being arrogant. So these are some of the other things that are mentioned, that he mentions briefly. And then he closes and he says, وَلْيَسْتَعِنْ الْمُسْلِمُ فِي التَّحَلِّ بِهَذِهِ الْأَدَابِ بِرَبِّهِ. That the Muslim seeks Allah's aid and help in implementing all of these different types of adab, these different manners. With the hadith is a dua, where we ask Allah to help us practice these different manners. كما في الدعاء المأثور. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim, عن علي بن أبي طالب, that the Prophet ﷺ would say, Allahumma hdini li ahsani akhlaq. The Prophet ﷺ, he would say, oh Allah, guide me to the best manners. Guide me to the best manners. La yahdi li ahsaniha illa ant. No one can guide a person to the best behavior except you, O Allah. And this is the Prophet ﷺ. Then he said, wasrif anni sayyi'aha. And keep me away from the worst type of behavior or the worst manners. Keep me away from, or keep those manners away from me. Keep me away from bad behavior. La yasrifu anni sayyi'aha illa ant. As no one can keep me away from those bad manners except for you. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. And if the Prophet ﷺ is making this dua, then of course we're in more need, as Allah praised the Prophet ﷺ in the Quran when he said, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلِقٍ عَظِيمٍ. When he said that indeed you, O Muhammad, are on a great standard of character. You're on a high level of character, as Allah said in the Quran. And it was known that the Prophet ﷺ's level of his character was on a high level. Even when they went to Aisha and they asked her what they didn't see outside, they asked her about what she saw in the house. She told them, radiallahu anha, she told them that the Prophet ﷺ, his adab, his character was the Quran. His character was the Quran, meaning he implemented what was in the Quran. He implemented. He didn't just quote ayat. He didn't just quote ayat and a hadith without using them. So this last dua, which is recorded by Imam al-Tirmidhi, where the Prophet ﷺ also said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min munkarat al-akhlaq wa a'mal wal-ahwa. Oh Allah, I seek your protection from the worst forms of manners, the worst manners. I seek your protection from having the worst manners. And I seek your protection from having or performing the worst deeds or following my desires. And this was the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, seeking Allah's protection from bad manners, bad adab, from bad behavior, and from evil deeds, sin, and from following one's own desires and going against the revelation of the Prophet or found in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And with this, it ends the chapter of adab. And next, we'll stop there. But next he moves on to Tahdhir min al-shirk wa anwa al-ma'asi. The next chapter he discusses the major sins. Some of the major sins that every Muslim should stay away from. Some of the major sins. As sins break down into two types: minor sins and major sins. Minor not meaning it's not a big deal. As the difference between a major and minor sin, he'll mention the difference. inshallah. But there's a difference between a major sin and a minor sin, and I'm on the same level. So he has a chapter here about the major sins that he goes into. Al-Kabair. And after that, it goes into a section on the janazah, tajheez al-mayyit, as-salat alayh, the janazah prayer, preparing the dead body, praying over the dead body, and burying the body. After the chapter of the major sins. So inshallah we'll pick up next week with the major sins. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.